Hi, I'm Bill from CJ Pony Parts. One of the first modifications many 2015 and up Mustang owners make is a set of hood struts. Now we all can agree the car should have come with hood struts from the factory, but it didn't, and thankfully they're very easy to add. We've done several videos already showing you different options for the hood strut, and one of the newest products to market is the Scottrek AlumaLift hood strut system shown here. This is a little bit of a unique system compared to some of the other ones on the market. Today we're going to install it on this 2015 Mustang V6. What makes the Scottrek system a little more unique is going to be the bracketry provided in the kit. The AlumaLift system includes aluminum brackets for both the hood and the body of the car itself, and a set of high-performance gas struts. All the hardware is going to be stainless steel as well. The difference here is the size of these brackets. What they're doing is they use a larger bracket to basically space the load of the strut out on the hood. A lot of people have fear that they're very small brackets put a lot of strain on a very small portion of your aluminum hood. By spreading it out like this, it's going to be a lot less dangerous. There's less chance of damaging your hood by installing the hood struts. One unique thing about the Scottrek kit is it's going to use rivnuts. Now you may not be familiar with what a rivnut is. What this is designed to do is this insert is going to install in a hole that you drill in the car, and then when you thread a bolt in, it'll basically make this fatten up here and hold it in place. This is designed to make an anchor point in a hole where you can't get to the back to put a nut. Now you will need a rivnut tool for the installation of this kit. Most of you are not going to have one. I personally don't have one either, but we found a way you can do it using basic hardware, and it'll do the same job as the tool. For this installation, you'll need a 3/8 ratchet, 10mm socket, 13mm socket, 4mm Allen key, 10mm wrench, 12mm wrench, 13mm wrench, silver marker, scissors, center punch, drill, 1/8" drill bit, 3/8 drill bit, homemade rivnut tool, and safety glasses. We're going to begin the installation on the passenger side of the car. The driver's side is actually the easier side. The passenger's a little more involved, so we'll show you this and then just repeat the process on the other side. The first thing to do is remove your battery cover. The first of the 4 rivnuts is going to be installed in this factory hole right here. To do that, we first have to open this up to 3/8 of an inch. The next thing is going to be to actually install the rivnut. As you can see, make sure it fits in the hole first. Now we'll show you the tool that we made using some of the parts provided by Drake to allow you to install this. To install the rivnut insert, we're going to use the bracket provided by Scottrek that mounts to our fender. Then what you'll need is an M6 by 1.0 bolt. This one is 35mm long, but 30 to 35 will work. A couple of washers, and then a lock washer. What we're going to do is grab the washers. You want to use 2 to 3 because you want them to actually be able to move. It's almost like a bearing. 3 washers on, just through the larger hole in the end here. The lock washer, I recommend the star type, underneath. Then take the insert, the rivnut itself. What you're going to do is you're going to thread it on. And what's going to happen is we're going to put the rivnut down into the opening, the hole we just drilled out. We're going to hold the bracket still, and then as we turn this bolt, it'll actually bring this up, expand the rivnut, and hold it in place. I do recommend, unless you're really, really strong hands, get someone to help you for this part. Have somebody hold the bracket for you, then have someone turn the bolt to install the rivnut. Now what we're going to do, like I said, you could do it yourself if you wanted to, but you really got to hold this tight. It's easier to have one person hold the bracket and have the other person actually wrench it on. You want to make sure you hold it flat against the fender too. And what will happen is it'll turn fairly easily at first, then it'll reach a point where it gets extremely tight. At that point, the nutsert is mounted and it's fine. You can remove it. What you need is back it off, unthread the bolt. Go, and your insert's mounted. Now we can move on to the bracket for the hood side. First thing you want to do is remove these little plastic clips, just sort of rock them back and forth and they'll come out pretty easily. Just basically going to get that out of the way. And what you're going to do here is we're going to remove this bolt, this nut, I'm sorry, all the way off. Then this nut here, you're going to loosen it to the very edge of the threads. And that one all the way, and this one down to the edge of the thread. This is a Scotch Drake hood bracket. It's going to spread the load over 3 mounting points. The stud we removed with the nut is going to go here. The loose one's going to go here. Then we're going to mark this and add another nut insert up here. First thing we're going to do though is get it in place so we can mark our hole to drill out for our rib nut insert. Then we're going to use a marker and mark the hole. And then remove the bracket so we can drill it out. I'm going to start by center punching the hole. I'm going to use a pilot bit to drill an 1/8 inch hole first, then we'll open up to 3/8. With these holes, it's very important to have a stop on your drill bit. I'm using tape to make one on here. Do the same thing with my 3/8 bit, but make sure you don't go too far. It'll be very easy to push through this and go right through the outside of your hood. Now we'll check the hole, make sure it's the right diameter, and then we'll install another rib nut. Now we're going to install the rib nut the same way we did on the bottom onto our hood. I might want to mention, when you do your driver's side, make sure you do this part first and then this. That way you have this bracket available to you to use as a tool. Now we're ready to install the bracket for the fender. It's going to set up like this when it's installed. This piece here, this little retainer, will go down into the hole and retain it. If you look, there's actually a small groove on the spacer to fit down in there. Then the riv nut we installed in the front, we'll get a bolt through that. Basically get everything started loose before you try to tighten anything down. Now we can install the hood strut itself. You want to have the body of the strut on the hood part. The thinner part goes down here. This is going to face towards the engine. I'm going to lift the hood, make sure this is on the outside. Okay, now we're going to go back through and tighten them up. Yeah, this install might be a little more involved than your typical hood strut install, but you want to take note here, the quality of this kit, this is a single hood strut installed and it's holding the hood up without any problems. Now we'll relocate our washer hose. We'll start by popping the clip off on the bottom one. The top's going to go right there. And there's a hole right here on the side for this. So what I'm going to do, put the clip in actually first. Then position the hose and lock it in. The last step on the passenger side is going to be to cut our battery cover. This template is provided, basically that hole goes over this, and this cutout section here is what we have to modify. The template's sitting on rubber, so you want to make sure you have it as flat as possible. What I'm going to do is just basically use a marker. We're going to start by trimming that section there we just marked. You want to start obviously small. You don't want to cut more material than you need. If you have to open up a little bit more, then we will. We're going to start by trimming the rubber section here just by using scissors. Plastic, obviously we need something a little sharper, but we can start by getting this section out here. Now we can put the cover back on. Start a little bit different. We're starting the back and then sort of slide it up on the bracket here. With the other clips installed, that'll sit nice and flush and we look good. I'm going to reinstall the other two clips for the battery cover. Okay. Then repeat the process on the driver's side. Like I said, it's much easier. No washer nozzle, no battery to deal with. Just install both brackets, bolt it on, your installation's finished. I did say your installation's finished, but in my opinion, it's not completely finished until you remove the unneeded prop rod. And now your install's finished. We showed you one strut will obviously keep the hood up, so both is going to do a great job. It's not real heavy though. Like you pull it down, it's got a nice weight to it, and again, like most hood struts, get about halfway up, let go, it's going to go all the way to the top, and then slow down at the bottom. The Scotch Rake installation is a little more involved than your typical hood strut. They are putting a lot more of the weight, they're spreading it out evenly along the hood. It's probably a better install overall, especially from an engineering standpoint. Overall though, it might not be a beginner installation because of the riv nuts, but take your time, give yourself a couple hours, be back on the road in no time.